Namaskar everyone. Now, hope you all are fine. Today we will going to study about a very important chapter, computer language. As you have up till now you have studied so many languages. You have studied HTML also. You learn how to make a document. You learn how to make a PowerPoint. Now we will going to study about computer languages. As you already know, that language is just a medium to express our views or to express our feeling to someone. Every two person, every two animals, and everybody use their own language to express their feelings, right? So computer do without even the language. How computer understand what user want? What user wants to do on a computer. So it's somehow you are just giving these commands in the form of language only to the computer. So what are these basic language? How computer understand human language and how we understand computer language we will going to study in this chapter. Fine. So before that, into the language, do you know what is program? Program is a set of instructions that tells the computer what to do. Like English is our language which being given a commands in English we people easily understand. So when we write a set of instruction for a computer, that particular block of set of instruction is known as program. So whatever you have in your mobile phone, whatever you have in your computer is basically a program, right? Now, the process of writing these specific instructions in computer language is called programming. If we if we give a set of instruction to ourselves, then we term that as a guideline. But if we write that set of instructions in the form of computer language or in a language the computer understood, this is called programming language. So what is a program? Program is a set of instructions that tells the computer what to do. And these set of instructions are written in computer language. The process of writing this is termed as programming language. Do you know who is the first ever programmer? The lady Ada Lovelace. She's a mathematician, but still she's regarded as the first computer programmer. You have studied in your 5th class about her, that what she has done, for what task she was being referred as a first programmer. She worked on the theory of Charles Babbage. That's why she's being called as a programmer. Okay. Now with this, now we will going to further studied about development of computer language. We were talking the computer has been invented earlier in our life. So from that day when the computer has invented, there are many languages which the programmers are going to be used. So we will going to study the development of computer language, which is being classified in some categories. What are these? The first categories of language is machine language or a first generation, which we have studied in our 5th class also. So what is this machine language means? Machine language is the only language that computer understood. It is the language which is only read by the machine computer. Now it is expressed the language or a set of commands in the form of 0 and 1, where 0 means off state and 1 means on state. Means 0 means true or false, 1 means true. It is also having an advantage of very high speed and very low memory utilization. If I give you some work in the language which you understand, right now you are able to understand English language. If I give you any instruction in English language, then you don't need to remember or write somewhere. You easily remember, your mind will easily grasp that statement and you do my work very faster. But if I start giving you the instruction in French language, you need a translator, you need someone to make you understand what does French word means, and then you will going to perform my task. So it is a very slow process. But when I give you the instruction in your own language, you will start working very fast. So it is an advantage for a computer. If you are using a machine language, that language works very fast. and very low memory utilization it requires. Now, there is a disadvantage of machine language too. It is extremely machine dependent. Machine dependent means if I have built a one program, it is on one computer, it is going to be run on that computer. But if you want to run on your machine, it will not able to run. So it is extremely a very machine dependent. Fine, that's why this machine language is being regarded as low-level language. The machine language written, the program written on one computer may not work to the another computer. Now, understanding and learning of this language is also very tough and a time-consuming process. It is very difficult to write and debug the programs written in machine language. Obviously, if I ask you to write in a Germany, write my chapter computer language in a Germany language, you will take much more time. You will face very difficulty in converting this simple English language into Germany. Okay, so that's why this is being regarded as a low-level language. Now, the next generation of a language is assembly language, which is the second generation of language. As you have seen in previous language, we were used to code a program in the form of 0 and 1. Means, if you want to write a add, if you want to sum the two numbers, you want to give a command add. Suppose add can be written in machine language like 0011. So you have to remember that, right? But in assembly language says you can use mnemonic codes or symbols instead of zeros and ones. Since assembly language uses symbolic code, it is much easier to work with assembly than in a binary language. Why we are terming machine language as a binary language? You already know binary system is only work with 0 and 1, and machine language is also a 0-1. That's why it has been known as binary language. So it is more easier to work with assembly language rather than the machine language. Why? Instead of coding it 0 and 1 form, we can code it in a simple English language too, which is called as mnemonic codes and symbols. Now, as this assembly language is using a simple English language to code, then how computer will able to understand the assembly language? For this, we need a translator program that will convert our assembly language into a machine language. So this translator program who convert assembly to machine is known as assembler, right? Means the program written in assembly language, which is termed as a source program, जो आपका original program. Now, when it convert into machine language, then it is known as the object code, the output code, which is being done by the assembler, right? Like machine language, assembly language too are machine dependent. Again, if you are writing a code in one machine, it is not possible to run the same code in another machine. So it is also, the language is quite time consuming. You have to remember all the commands, all the symbolic code, mnemonic code for particular equations, right? So this is also being regarded as a low level language. So machine language and assembly language both are regarded as a low level language. Machine level language, it is very difficult to understand and time consuming to program it, whereas assembly language is quite easier than the binary language to code it, as it is being coded in a simple English language in the form of mnemonics and symbol. Now, this language uses a translator program to translate our language into the machine language, right? Understood? Okay. Now, do you know we were terming program softwares who have used this first term? Might be you have studied in 5th class that this term is used in 1957. The person who used this term for the first time is John W. Turkey. Right. Now you remember that? He's the first person who used this term software. Now, we will move further to the next language, which is high level language. See, why the development of these languages is required. As you studied in first generation language, it is in machine language. Means if you are a good programmer, if you know machine language, then only you can use the computer. Then what about us who don't know even any of the language? How we will going to use it? So for these two generations of language has been come up to make the task much more easier for the programmer, right? So the third generation language is high level language. Now high level language, the restriction of using machine and assembly language prompt to develop the language which follow the features like simple language and user friendly. Language that is machine independent. Means if I write a code on one computer, that same code can be work in another computer too. Okay. So the first feature of high level language is it is very simple, user friendly language. User friendly language means you can understand what commands are written by reading it as it is written in human readable form. Fine. And this language is machine independent. Now a large number of people started writing a computer programming with using this third generation language. Okay? That's why this has been regarded as high level language. Many people have started using computer language, third generation language. For this reason, we regarded them as a high level language. The high level language, I told you, it is quite similar to human readable form in an English language. You can code all the program in the normal English language. So basic examples of the high level language are basic, C, C++, Java, etc. Right now all the language which we are using up till now, these all are termed as high level language. Right? Now high level language are more popular nowadays. High level language programs high level language needs to be translated to machine language, then only the output will appear. Now the program which we are going to use to translate our high level language, that translator programs are, there are two types of translator programs. The first one is interpreter. Interpreter translate all the commands line by line and execute the instruction and then repeat the procedure for the remaining instructions. If there any errors are found, they are to be removed immediately at the same point, as converted form is not going to store anywhere. Okay? So means suppose you have made a program for addition and this program is being written in suppose 5 lines. Fine, you have written 5 lines of set of instructions. Now interpreter will compile the first line when you write and give you the error if there is an error. Error, you know, if any mistake is there in writing a rules of instructions, right? So when you write second line, it again execute, translate into machine language, and if there is an error, it give you the error. If it is fine, then it will give you the message. So it repeats this procedure for all the instructions which we have written, suppose 5, right? And if the errors are being found, they have been reported immediately and you can remove this error and you can move forward. Now you have seen it has been the only converting our language line by line, so the converted form is not going to store anywhere into your computer and it has to be generated at the time of execution program. Okay? Now interpreter programs are only preferred by the beginners and for the person who are slow in execution speed. Okay? So these interpreters generally used by the beginners as the execution process is very slow. जब आप एक line लिखोगे, then only it convert into machine. When you write next line, then it convert the next instruction. So same way, it is a long process to execute any program. Now, second translator program to convert high level language into machine is a compiler. Compiler again is a translator program which is used to convert high level language into machine. It translates whole program at once. Means you have to write your whole program first and then it going to be translated into machine language. So it generates the object code along with the list of errors after you stop writing the program. The execution speed of the compiler is obviously fast. It will compile all the set of lines together and will not take a time to execute and give you the list of error. Understood? Interpreter compile line by line. Compiler compile whole program at once. Fine. So these high-level language are generally used by programmers to program all the programs which you are watching in computer and in even mobile phones. Okay. Now the next generation of language is fourth generation language. As you have already seen, there are popular language like basic C++ program, Java. So if you want to program, if you want to use a computer, you need to have a knowledge about these high-level language. What about the people, those who are amateur to the programming language, those who know not much about the computer? Are they were not supposed to use the computer? They can also use the computer with the help of fourth generation language. Fourth generation language are more closer to human being than the high generation language, high level language, highly user friendly, interdependent on any of the operating system, means one program can be run on my mobile phone, it can also be run on your mobile phone, and it can also be run on somebody other mobile phone even too. And it is having very high speed of execution, designed to reduce the level of programming efforts. Nowadays, you can even make your videos. You can use any movie maker application to make your own video. So you don't have to code anything. You have to just use the tools given inside the application. So this reduces the level of programming efforts. Fourth generation reduce the levels of programming effort. You don't need to program it. You can simply use it by using your mobile, mouse click and a keyboard. Minimum the efforts from the user to obtain any information. Obviously, you don't have to gather much information to use the computer. Design time is very reduced and the cost of the software development is also being reduced due to the fourth generation language. It is being coded, एक program first time बन गया, you can simply use it in a very innovative way without even learning the programming language. So this is the use of fourth generation language. Nowadays, we are able to work with the computer. How? Because of the fourth generation language. Fine. So, in fourth generation language, user has to only specify what output they want, while the computer determines the sequence of instruction that will be accomplished those results. Like calculator, I just tell calculator to do 2 plus 5. The calculator automatically write all the instruction and give me the result. I don't need to code it, what is the command for add, how he will going to add it. It automatically done. This is the example of fourth generation language. Now I was telling you the translator program is used to translate the language. So they give you the list of error. What are these error? Means every language has some particular syntax. What is syntax? The rule of writing a programming language. Every programming language has a different rules to write the set of instructions. So this set of instruction for writing any language is called syntax. Now, the 14 was one of the earliest language that was designed for the scientist and engineer. Now, COBOL are also designed for the business purpose. Okay. Now, do you know the Space War, the first computer interactive game? Space War. Space War is the name of first computer interactive game. Now, in software development, the beta release refer to product or technology which is still in development, but it released only for testing and evaluation process. Means there is a beta program, a program with the name beta, in which you can make your app and you can just give the app to the beta, who will going to just do the testing and evaluation whether your app is working fine or not. Okay, so this is about the computer language. Hope you understood. I am again giving you a short summary of what we have studied. Fine. We have studied about the language, which is a medium of communication between user and computer. The machine language, first generation language, which use binary code to depict operators and data. It is a machine dependent, the only language directly understood by the computer. Then the second assembly language, which use mnemonics and symbols instead of binary number. Again, it is a machine independent, has to be converted into machine language by the translator program assembler. Then we have studied about high level language, that is English word or mathematical operators. Machine independent language has to be converted into machine language by two program interpreter or compiler. Now 4G language, fourth generation language, machine independent, minimal user skills required to obtain the results. Anybody who is amateur can use the computer. Application development tool means it is given a more application to work with the computer. You don't need a programming instructions only. So this is all about the chapter computer language, which is a medium. So now you get to know in which language we work and what is the language which we are using while we are doing our online classes, while we are using the computer. I hope so you will get the answer for this. So I'll end this chapter here only. Go through the chapters, go through the modules given to you, and if you have any doubt you can ask me. I'm there only. Thank you so much and have a great day.